Good morning, students. Shall we get into the class? Okay. In the last class, we have studied the microorganisms, the five major categories of microorganisms: bacteria, protozoa, fungi, algae, viruses. And then we learned the useful microorganisms. So the first one, commercial uses, that we have already learned, isn't it? So today we are going to learn about the remaining useful microorganisms and how they are useful to us. Let us see the first one, medicinal uses, how the microorganisms are used in medicinal purposes. Making antibiotics. Making antibiotics. What are antibiotics? Antibiotics are prepared from bacteria or fungi. So certain bacteria and fungi are used in the production of medicines called antibiotics that destroy certain disease-causing microorganisms. So antibiotics are prepared from bacteria and fungi, and they kill or destroy certain disease-causing microorganisms. And this is penicillin. Penicillin is a fungi, and this is used for making, this is Penicillium notatum. It's a fungi. It is used for making the antibiotic called penicillin. Penicillin is an antibiotic prepared from Penicillium notatum. It's a fungi. Penicillium notatum is a fungi. And this penicillin was invented by or discovered by Alexander Fleming. Scientist's name is Alexander Fleming. And when he was doing his experiment with bacteria, and the fungi killed that bacteria. So from that he concluded that fungi, Penicillium notatum, can kill the bacteria. So that he invented or discovered the antibiotic penicillin. And like that, streptomycin and tetraglycin, these are also example for antibiotics which are prepared from Streptomyces bacteria. Streptomycin and tetracycline are the antibiotics prepared from the Streptomyces bacteria. They are antibiotics. And these antibiotics are also used to control some diseases obtained from plants and animals also. Next is, some microorganisms are used for making vaccine. When a disease-causing microorganism enter into our body produces substances called antibodies. When a disease-causing microorganism enter into our body produces substances which are called antibodies. These antibodies fight against the disease-causing microorganism and kill the particular microorganism. Okay. And they remain in our body to fight the future infections by the same microorganism. So, vaccine is a preparation of killed or weakened disease-causing organism. So, vaccine, so it is prepared from a killed or weakened microorganism. When a vaccine is introduced in the body of a healthy person by injection or oral drops, his body produces antibodies against these microorganisms. So, vaccines help in preventing diseases caused by microorganisms. So, polio, cholera, typhoid, smallpox, and hepatitis can be prevented by vaccines. Next uses making food supplements. Some microorganisms such as chlorella and spirulina are used as food supplements because they are rich in proteins and other nutrients. Then in human body, some bacteria like lactobacillus and Escherichia coli live in the intestine of human being, and they help in the digestion of food and destroy the disease causing microorganisms. Now let us see the environmental uses of microorganisms. Some microorganisms like bacteria and fungi act on the dead and decayed plants and animals and convert them into simple substances and send back them to the soil. And these substances are used by other plants and animals. So the removal of dead bodies by the action of microorganisms keep our earth clean. And some bacteria are used in sewage treatment. When the wastewater is treated, these bacteria act on the organic matter and purify the water. Then the last one is agricultural uses. How the microorganisms help in agriculture. The nitrogen is very essential for plants, animals and human beings. How do we get this nitrogen? Plants can synthesize nitrogen containing compounds. So when we consume the plants, we get that nitrogen. Then how do the plants get nitrogen? Yes, the atmosphere contains nitrogen. The atmospheric nitrogen is very strong. So to break them up, high amount of energy is required. So by lightning, this nitrogen is broken down and fixed in the soil. That nitrogen is not sufficient for the plants. So the bacteria also absorb the atmospheric nitrogen and fix in the soil. The rhizobium bacteria present in the root nodules and the blue-green algae also fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. So this nitrogen is converted into nitrates and fixed in the soil. This process is called nitrogen fixation. Now the nitrates are synthesized by the plants and they make protein. When these protein content plants are consumed by the human being as well as the plants, they get proteins. So here you can see how the soil gets nitrogen. See, from the atmosphere, the bacteria like rhizobium and the blue-green algae convert the atmospheric nitrogen and fix in the soil, and they convert the nitrogen into nitrates, and when the nitrates are taken by the plants, they prepare or they synthesize protein. So all the nitrogen, the atmospheric nitrogen are used by the plants. Then how the atmosphere get the nitrogen? Yes, the soil, when the plants and animals die and they return back to the soil. So these nitrogen compounds are denitrifying by the bacteria, denitrifying bacteria, and these denitrifying bacteria convert the soil nitrogen compounds and send back to the atmosphere. This is called nitrogen cycle. So the cyclic flow of atmospheric nitrogen to the living world and back into the atmosphere is called nitrogen cycle. Okay, students, thank you.